Hello, 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 hello. I am welcoming you all to Untethered Fridays, where we talk about whatever I want to talk about. So I was just thinking, something that came up. It's always something that is happening in my life, because why wouldn't it be? I just had this, I needed some information about some money that was either coming to me or not, and I was unsure of what had been decided, and I was very uncomfortable about asking, like feeling like I should know. Well, the situation is that, like, how can I put this without being specific? I got a little extra money, and I'm not sure if it's being taken out of more money, the money that we get now, or not. And that wasn't something that was clarified in the discussions that I had. So I had to ask, because quite honestly, I'm throwing a wedding at the end of the month. And I had Christmas, and like when you have the opportunity to buy yourself some underwear without holes, without other than the three main holes in the underwear, no other holes, you know what I mean? Like some bras that aren't stretched out, some pajamas that you don't have any other pajamas, but the stuff you've been wearing is like 3 sizes, like sweatpants that are 3 sizes too long, and then like the tops all have holes in them, and you know what I mean? Like I had a lot of stuff, like my shoes were worn out, like there was a lot of stuff that I finally had the ability to get. And I mean, let's be honest, like what did I buy for myself that wasn't necessary? Or somewhat necessary? I mean, essential oils, right? But I kind of consider those necessities. Yeah, there's not a lot that I bought that I can think of that was like frivolous and fun. Other than, no, well, it's not, I mean, this isn't even frivolous and fun, but I went and I bought my Tiffany's ring for my wedding. So anyway, point is, I'd like some money. But I'm not sure if I had it coming or not. These poor flowers. Yeah, it's too bad. Hopefully I planted my flowers in a bigger pot, and I'm hoping they get over their shock. We'll see. So, I've got the TENS electrodes, that one of the people in the community, Chong, gave me this machine that sends electrical pulses to your muscles, so it's kind of like working out, just sitting here. So that's the beeping you hear, and that is why my legs are doing this. I got them on my calves right now, to my ankles a little bit earlier. Anyway, what am I gonna say? What was I saying? Yeah, I feel like everything I bought was a necessity. Like, I'm going through in my head, I could look it up on, yeah, I mean, like, or very important. There's nothing frivolous, but right, because and then there's obviously the regular payments to different things that I could, I pay the heating bill. That was cool. But I'm gonna need to pay the heating bill again this month. And stuff like that, right? So the point is that I felt uncomfortable asking about, like, okay, so what's the arrangement here? Are we taking this out of the amount of money I'm receiving in the future, or was this just as you was explained to me or presented to me, just sort of like, you take this money and deal, like, so you don't have to be freaking out about things. But I mean, I think I need to, I want to pay it back to the company, but I also need some money right now. So maybe that's something in the future, like in future payments once we have more longer clientele list. I don't know, whatever the case may be. The point is, it was an awkward thing for me to do, but I was like, well, I've been thinking about it for a couple of days, and like, I don't really want to do this. Like, I don't, like, maybe I'll just let it ride. But then I realized, like, that I am gonna have to I am gonna have to collect some more money at some point soon. So I had to write a text, and it's like, it's this awkwardness that you just, like, you feel so, you avoid it, and it's uncomfortable. I hate this sort of thing. So if I say that, that's just an affirmation, right? Oh, I hate this. Well, like, so I love this. And I do find it challenging to do it. So I come up to it, I'm getting nervous, I'm like, ugh, feeling sick about it, whatever. But then once I decided, you know what, I gotta do this, and I kind of look at it from the other end. Like, it wasn't made clear to me what we were doing, and or at least, yeah, it wasn't really made clear. And it's reasonable for me to ask that question. And that's something that I think what we have to kind of face a lot of times. And then once I realized it was reasonable for me to ask, I had very little difficulty. I mean, it's still uncomfortable, but it was like, okay, I can ask. But I think, I don't know about you guys out there, but there are plenty of subjects around which people feel uncomfortable. Oh, or I feel uncomfortable. My cats are gonna look great, guys. Oh, yeah, that's some electricity going through my muscles. Yep. Okay, so I think that regardless of what the uncomfortable subject is, if there's a question you have to ask or a conversation you have to have, it's useful to look at it from a different point of view. Not from like, oh, I feel awkward because I'm bringing the subject up. It's very me oriented, but like in general, like, is it reasonable for you to know this? Like, is it something you have to know, or is it something that needs to be said? And then once that's decided, yes, it is, I need to say it, or I need to ask it. It becomes easier. So I think that if you have if you have an issue with something, as far as talking about something with someone or asking someone about something, just think about it from the other end, like, rather than how you're feeling about it, like, is it necessary? And then I find it easier to do. For instance, one of the conversations I had, this a while ago, but like, I watched my mother go through dealing with her mother's estate when she died. And that was a mess. It was a mess, and she was the only one who could do it, and her family, her siblings were all assholes, which, okay, I guess that's just that. But sorry, there's 300 thoughts entering my brain at once. But I really don't want that for me. I really do, because it's gonna be left to me. Like, my sisters disappeared, and my brothers doesn't just. I mean, the only person who's gonna help me is my sister-in-law, who's awesome, and I love her. But my brother's not gonna step up unless he's pushed to. And yeah, I don't want to have to be the one to deal with it. I don't have to. It's a lot of hassle. It's a headache. People get very stressed out about it. People cry about it. Like, and it lasts for years and years and years. So I was like, a while ago, I was like, Mom, do you have a plan in place for when you die? And she's like, I'm like, look, like I said, I saw you deal with this with Nana, I saw one of my aunts deal with it for her mother, and like, I don't want to have to deal with it. Like, it'd be really mean, knowing what you know, what it's like. Like, is that when you want to leave us? You know what I mean? Like, because I don't want to be left that. I don't want that on top of the grief, or at all. But, you know, so I kind of pushed her to get herself a plot and all that stuff, you know, like arrange for things, have a will. My father won't do it though. Anyway, I'm gonna have to bring it up again. But my mother told me the other day that she got a plot. It's like, yes, thank you. So it's an awkward conversation, but like, think about the alternative. What if you don't have it? What if you don't ask the question? What if you don't say, hey, this is what I need? What is going to be the outcome? The outcome is you're not going to get the money. You're not going to, you're going to have to pay a shit ton of money when your parent dies and be left with open ends for years and years and years that will have you pulling out your hair. Unless you just say, hey, mom and dad, do you have a will? Is everything taken care of? It's uncomfortable, right? You're like, okay, it's saying you're going to die one day. And you are. The thing is, why are we uncomfortable about saying that I'm going to die one day, you're going to die one day, we're all going to die one day? Have you prepared so that you're not leaving your children incredible burdens? That's the thing, right? So my father's 84 and he still hasn't. He refuses. Asshole. Sorry. But I mean, God, really? You're gonna leave that to us? So I'm gonna actually get on it again next time I'm down there. Anyway, that is what I have to talk about today. Uncomfortable conversations, questions, statements, the stuff that you need to do, like you should be doing, but you aren't because it's uncomfortable, but that's going to have a negative effect on you. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the things you really should, swallow the discomfort and realize that, you have every right to ask this question. You have every right, it's like you should know these things. You should ask this question. You should know the answer to this question, and there's no reason for you to know it already if you don't have the knowledge, or, you have a right to say to a parent, like, look, I don't want to be screwed over when you die. You know what I mean? Like, don't screw me over, please. So it's these uncomfortable conversations that we're taught not to. They're taboo and we're taught not to discuss. Whereas the other day, my niece and my nephew were here in my office, and they were divvying up my parents' possessions. Blankets and crystals, like crystal animals that we used to get my mother because we didn't know what else to get her. Anyway, that is that. I'm going to wrap this up with saying that I'm grateful to have something to be uncomfortable about, right? So I'm going to remind you guys, as always, that you can always choose to have a grateful day. If I can get this thing off, it'd be very nice. Okay, no.